Hi, and welcome back to Trend Watch 777. So this is a continuation of the coverage of the Nancy Guthrie abduction. And so in my last video, what I did, I covered that they sent some blood samples to the forensics to get forensic work done on it. And also we also discovered that the backpack that the guy wore that disabled the camera, the backpack is sold exclusively at Walmart. So today now, shout out to Fox News for this reporting, and they said the FBI releases a suspect description, and they also doubles the reward. So let's go and see what's going on with the video.
Okay, for more insight and analysis into this investigation, let's bring in our own Paul Morrow, Fox News contributor and former NYPD inspector. So we'll start there, Paul. You heard what Harvey said about this letter. People have called him a honeypot now for these scammers, but he says, look, the federal authorities are taking these letters seriously. We don't know if we'll hear from this guy again. What do you make of all of this?
So obviously this person has positioned themselves in a way that they don't have to provide any proof of life because they're just outside of the investigation.
Right, and remember, about the second or third day, Savannah did ask for proof of life, but we never got any indication that there was proof of life. And then, not only that, I see that they doubled the reward money. So, and then they know that the Guthrie family is desperation is setting in, and the nation is like, we're desperate to find out anything new that would lead to the apprehension of the kidnapper. And so I think a lot of people, well, we know one that came out the woodwork. And I just hope that other ones don't, because they doubled the reward money. And so let's just keep on going.
It's all very coy and very protected. So I don't see anything here that's particularly compelling. A clever person could certainly construct this. Now, I want to be clear. That doesn't mean that there isn't something genuine there. But I just go back to what so many other commentators have said along with me, which is right now the actual reward is higher than the cost of a Bitcoin, and there'd be no pejorative in coming forward. You'd be a hero, and this nonsense about, well, I don't want to be thought of as a rat is ridiculous. As I've said on the air before, perpetrators who are in and around crime, they don't care about what they're labeled if you're offering them $100,000. So I'm skeptical of all of that.
Okay, let's pivot now to what happened overnight, this massive investigation, some kind of an operation at this house within 2 miles of Nancy Guthrie's home. They're being the sheriff's department being very cautious this morning, saying there's absolutely no one that's been arrested, absolutely no one that's been in custody. They won't even confirm whether or not the two separate scenes last night were related. How are you reading all of this morning? We know that someone could be detained for questioning, not necessarily in custody or arrested. How are you sort of like picking up on what the sheriff's putting out right now?
Yeah, I briefly read that they did detain 3 people, but then they later released them.
So there are levels of detention in federal and state police work. There's case law that kind of proscribes what you can do. And essentially, you can hold somebody, it's the famous stop, question, and frisk paradigm. You can hold somebody for a brief investigation to ascertain certain things before it becomes an arrest. And there's a continuum. And there's no bright line there. It's always a totality of the circumstances analysis. We don't know what happened here in terms of how they got the search warrant. They had probable cause to get search warrants. We know that. So they had enough there to at least do that. But very clearly, according to the police, it never escalated to the point where they said, okay, you are in custody right now. You're not going anywhere and you are under arrest. I'd love to see the search warrants. I think that's the great mystery in this thing. But obviously, they're not being made public. They're, I'm sure, filed under seal. But they had to have something more than just an informant, somebody saying, hey, I think it's these guys. They must have married it to some other facts, just as they did in the earlier one. But remember something, in the earlier one, they appear to have washed him out at this point. These things happen in law enforcement, to be fair. The difference here is the tremendous scrutiny that's on this and the number of resources. I mean, there were dozens of cars out there, dozens of forensic trucks, and all kinds of personnel and tech. That is what's unusual here. You had drones up, so the visibility into it for the public is what's unusual.
But it's a good sign, right? I mean, just to see any police activity. We want to see police activity now 2 weeks later. That means that tips are coming in. We know thousands of tips are coming in, but it also means that something is catching the eye of investigators enough to where they go get a search warrant.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, that people are cooperating, they are getting stuff. And there's another subtlety, I think, here that's a good sign, which is that the task force seems to be operating in synchronicity. We all know that there are reports of some tension inside of it, and that's never helpful. It's common, but it's not helpful. Looks to me at this point like they've decided to get on the same page. They've got protocols in place. The FBI was out there with the Pima County Sheriff's Office last night.
It's about time.
Put out a statement the Pima County Sheriff's Office did where they were very careful to name check the FBI to say in conjunction with our partners, et cetera, et cetera. So very clear they're all being cognizant. I'm sure word came down from above. Look, you guys got to work this out. And I'm not even just talking about Washington. I'm talking about in Tucson from the mayor's office, et cetera. You got to work this out here because the main equity, of course, is getting Nancy back. That looks to have taken place. So I'm hopeful with all of these combined resources and the public now engaged, because they're very clearly now engaging the public more than they had been. That is a lot of scrutiny in between all of this investigative muscle and tips coming in from the public, people thinking about things that maybe I should report it, maybe I shouldn't, let me just do it. At some point, you get that golden nugget.
And very quickly, I just have 30 seconds left here, Paul. I mean, you said to me yesterday, you're zooming in on the backpack. The backpack could be the key to finding and cracking this case open. Why?
They're very definitive about the backpack. They're not hedging there. In addition to the height they gave, which is a new definitive data point, between the backpack, which is relatively rare, they're going to identify some of the other items that are visible in that video. Cross-reference all that. If you're lucky, you got credit card purchases. That's going to get you there. If it's cash, you're going to need video of the actual purchases. Hopefully it was done recently enough that you can synchronize all of that data and get to the one person who bought all of these things, because there's a few things in there that are relatively unique in that video.
Okay. All right, Paul Morrow, you're a godsend. Thank you for joining us and giving us your insight as we try to figure this out.
Hey, everyone.
Okay, so there we have it. And to me, we're still back on square one. I haven't heard of any update. And we still don't know where Nancy is. And I'm looking over here to see if there's another video that does have something different that I haven't reported on already that we don't already know. I'm looking for something that we just like earth-shattering new that's going to bust the case wide open, but unfortunately we're not there yet. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, and if something new come in, then I will do an update video. But if it's just the same thing, the same information, just regurgitated in another way to make it sound like it was new, but no. So until then, I will see you, and let's continue to keep the Guthrie family in our prayers, okay? I'll see you in my next video.